news,
Lobbyists are fed up with politicians accepting their money and then not coming through.
opinion,
When the automated police force orders you inside, that's just them doing their job.
remix.
Even lost my job partially due to the whole global warming issue. Increase in oil prices. This guy's scared.
This is Top Story with Kelly Klass and Jill Skeen,
I've been a listener for about 20 years.
I'm talking to you makes me feel better.
where the news meets your opinion. Pick up the phone and talk about it. 736-0300. That's 736-0300. Now, here's the hosts of Top Story, Kelly Klass and Jill Skeen.
Good morning and welcome to another Top Story at 736-0300. And good morning, Jill.
Good morning, Kelly.
How was your day? What's the matter?
What?
You went
What do you
like
mean,
this.
what's the matter?
You went like this.
It's a Wednesday.
Oh.
Hello.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
Okay, there you go.
Now it's complete.
What can I say?
Now I'm happier.
You know,
Thank
each Wednesday I try to just kind of forget about that.
Why you try to do that?
You won't let me forget.
It's
It's getting kind
it
of
makes
old.
you laugh.
It's getting kind of old.
Oh, really? Okay.
We need
well,
to move
well, we'll
on
take a
to
poll.
more cutting edge
It doesn't
things.
make you smile each time. I saw the corners of your mouth go up. I did. I saw you couldn't hide
I
it.
wasn't laughing at that.
Oh, really?
No.
What were you laughing at?
I don't know. I can't
Just
say.
laughing.
I can't say.
Okay, fine.
All right.
Whatever.
Coming up this morning, we're going to be talking to the Magic Valley Speedway again. Another big race day coming up.
Mm-hmm.
We also have Gabe Cordova from Core Group Realty who will be with us. And then we have Twin Falls Vice Mayor Suzanne Hawkins at 9 o'clock for State of the City.
That's right. Get your
So-
questions ready.
Lots of stuff to talk about in the meantime. Also, have a couple of interesting news items here. I had to chuckle when I read this from out of Ada County. Ada County Sheriff's Office searching for a motorcycle rider after a package that fell off his vehicle turned out to be full of methamphetamine.
Really?
2 people in a car saw the motorcycle speed by them on Amity Road between Eagle and Locust Grove about 9 a.m. Friday. They say the rider was going about 80 miles an hour.
I'm sure he was. Was he on meth?
When the car's occupants saw something fall from the back of the motorcycle, they turned around to pick it up. Inside the black plastic pouch was a bag full of white powder. The pair called the Ada County Sheriff's Office, and deputies verified the bag contained 72.5 grams of meth, or nearly 3 ounces. So they put it out on Facebook. They're looking for this individual so they can return his package.
And you know what? He'll probably say, "Hey, that was mine."
Yeah, that was mine. I need
this
it
is
back.
like Chris Hansen when they, entrap you with anything. Or like we're giving out TVs and they're totally felons,
Last week, the Twin Falls County Sheriff's Office made an arrest out on Highway 93 of a couple who was carrying, I think, heroin, several big items. They were speeding. Why did they do that?
They either are speeding or they have a busted out taillight. That's a big one.
Yeah.
That pulls over a lot of people.
They're doing something illegal.
Something is amiss.
It's like they're driving down the road with the window down, screaming out the window, "Hey, everybody, I've got illegal drugs."
I know.
Why do they do that?
Or please stop me. Please stop me.
Maybe that's what
Please
it is.
stop
Maybe
me.
it's
Stop
a
me
plea
from
for help.
this.
Maybe they think if I do something illegal, the police will stop me, they'll find it, and I'll get rehab, and I'll finally get cured of this thing. I doubt it. I think they're just stupid.
They need to use their money towards fixing up their car. So they aren't stopped.
That's kind of another thing, too. They have all this money that they're going through, but they always seem, well, I don't know. I can't say that's always the case.
How much could a bad tail light cost?
Yeah.
It's usually a tail light.
I know.
Usually you're speeding. I
know.
it's something.
So at any rate,
we should be
I
grateful.
had to
At least
chuckle
they
at
catch
that.
them.
And here's another one. If you're, we have a commenter on this. 736-0300, Top Story. Good morning. Oh, wait a minute. There we go.
On Facebook, I saw a deal about a robbery in a house, and the robber logged onto his Facebook page.
No.
Logged onto his Facebook page when he was robbing a house, and then left
Without logging out.
Without logging out. The guy logged in and said, you left something at the house. If you want, you can come and get it. And the guy showed up. How bright is that?
You know, I don't know what to say. It just shows, I guess, that the criminal element. It's not always the case, though. Not all the criminal element is stupid. Some of the criminal element are geniuses. If they would use their creativeness for good, they could be rich and have a lot of friends. But
have
instead,
a nice life.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand people. Well, I do know this. If you're, I don't know how much this cost the taxpayers. Maybe it didn't cost them anything, but I just thought it was crazy. San Diego International Airport has opened its first ever meditation room, located post security in Terminal 2. In case you go by there, airport officials said the non-denominational space, called the Spirit of Silence.
Sounds lovely.
The Spirit of Silence. I wish I had some music to play behind this.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I have any that would be appropriate for this.
Okay.
Anyway, the Spirit of Silence, and also known as Reflection Room,
it's nice.
Is a serene place for travelers to contemplate, meditate, or pray in a quiet setting before or after flights.
I think it's actually a good idea because, it could be your last flight. Why not have a place to pray?
Now, you've got a point there.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, look what's going on. And how many people have gotten unruly on flights? The numbers have gone up dramatically. Maybe they need to meditate and calm down.
Maybe they need a meditation room. Okay, buddy, you're
this
not
could be
going
your
on
last
this flight.
Why not have a little prayer?
You're banned to the meditation room. Anyway, the last line was the funniest. The design was created by Seattle-based artist Nori Sato and is meant to evoke, and I quote, the undefinable and changing edge between water and sky.
Does that mean your flight's going in the water? Hopefully, I thought it would be earth and sky, or maybe
I don't know.
In the sky. You want to stay in the sky, don't you?
Well, I guess, unless you're landing.
Oh, my goodness.
So anyway,
well,
there you go.
You know what? Maybe it works out there. Maybe people are nervous. Maybe it will help with incidents. Reebok used to have a get well room. And I had a friend who had a business, and he's like, really, it should be called the Get Real Room. But, actually, it was, and I used it a couple times. Like, how, like, maybe you have a headache or maybe you're tired or something. You could go to this room, and it was like a lazy boy chair, and you had a blankie, and you could have little things cover your eyes. You could just take a nap for like 20 minutes, and then you can go back to work as opposed to going home. They also had a masseuse on staff, and they supplemented half of it. So for an hour-long massage, it would be $30, and the company would pay the other $30. But they were going to stop the service, but the healthcare costs were going down. it helped people feel better. Yeah. So if you could keep your employees there longer, why not have a little place you could just close your eyes for a few minutes as opposed to saying, I got to go home. There's no place to do it. Some things work. Why not?
Okay. They should call this one the New Age Room, because that's what it sounds like.
Yeah,
New Age Room.
Reflection Room, non-denominational silence, and what is it called?
Well,
Spirit of Silence.
Yeah,
room.
it's the undefinable and changing edge between water and sky.
Well, sometimes you need a little moment before you get on those planes.
I don't know how much time we'll have to talk about this, but we got some laws coming up here that'll take effect in Idaho on the 1st. Certain people will be allowed to carry guns on college campuses in just 1 week. One of many of the new laws that go into effect July 1st. One of the most controversial laws to come out of the legislature goes into effect. That is allowing the guns on campus. Retired law enforcement and those with Idaho's enhanced concealed carry will be able to take guns onto limited areas of college and university campuses. One of the other hot-button issues is Idaho wolves. New this year in Idaho will be the Wolf Control Board, put together by the governor's office. They'll get $620,000 annually from general funds, fish and game, and the livestock industry to reduce Idaho's wolf population to 150 wolves and 15 breeding pairs. That is the minimum number of wolves needed to keep from being listed under the Endangered Species Act. One of the big changes you'll probably notice, the increase in interstate speed limits. The speed limit will go up from 75 to 80 miles an hour for cars and 65 to 70 miles an hour for trucks on rural stretches of I-84, I-86, and I-15. I'm kind of like the AAA guy. I didn't think this was going to be happening for a while. Well, in fact, we had Nathan Jerky with us from the ITD, and he said this is probably going to take a while to implement, but it looks like it's going in. Well, it'll go into effect as soon as the signs are up. The way I understand it, the signs are going to be going up almost immediately.
But when you think about it, because when we talked to him about it, I mean, every highway road had to be evaluated, a study. Then he changed the signs, and I said, really, is it worth it for the and it was going to cost millions of dollars to do this. Like, really, who was demanding this? Who was demanding? Because people are driving 80 miles an hour anyway. But to cost the state that much money, we know between the studies, between replacing all of the signs, why? We're in such a budget crunch. We have to, cut everything. We don't have enough for education, but let's put millions of dollars into signs and studies for our highways when how many people were demanding we need 80 miles an hour?
Well, and like you say, we're driving that anyway.
They're driving it anyway.
I mean, between
so now
here
that
and Boise,
80,
if you're driving 75 miles an hour,
something's wrong with you.
You are considered a block in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
And then some of these poor trucks that have to go 65, and some of them are even governed for less than that.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes for a tough deal. Talking to Idaho State Police, they said, well, we're just going to start handing out tickets at 81 miles an hour now.
Yeah.
So there's really not going to be any difference. You could get up to 80 miles an hour.
Anyway.
They will never admit it. You talk to a policeman. Oh, they would, well, we're a no-tolerance state. But still, you could drive up to 80 and you wouldn't get a ticket. 81, and they'd pull you over. Now they say with the speed limit going to 80, at 81, we're going to put, so there is no difference. It's just going to cost us money to do this.
I know. I don't even understand the rationale.
What they need to do is let the trucks go as fast as the cars. I think that would have fixed more than anything. Let the cars drive 75. Let the trucks drive 75.
Well, who even said that was a problem? You know what I mean? Like, who is demanding 80 miles an hour? And they have so many studies that show the higher speeds, the more deadly the accidents. So kudos to Idaho legislature for doing this.
I guess, well, Utah has some 80-mile-an-hour limits, and one other state, was it Colorado or something like that? But anyway, they said that they really didn't notice any more accidents going up to the 80 miles an hour. There's really not that much of it. I don't know. It just seems like much ado about nothing.
They're going to go 85 now. You know that. 85, 90, and, it just seems like why? Why?
Top story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, Jill. I have to agree with you.
What? Today's my lucky day.
That speed limit of 80 miles an hour is a little ridiculous. Yeah, I drive 80 miles an hour all the time, but we don't need to change the speed limit to 80 miles.
I know.
Yeah,
and it's costing us.
It's getting changed.
And it's costing the state a lot of money to change these signs and do these studies. And why? What was the big, who called in and said, oh, we need to go to 80? Come on.
We got the Magic Valley Speedway next right here on Top Story on News Radio 1310 KLIX. 7360300 is always the number to call. If you haven't stopped by Bish's RV yet, this is like, what, the third or fourth day of summer now?
Yeah,
and we're
fourth,
burning,
maybe?
As John Wayne said, we're burning daylight. Well, we're burning summer here, folks. Stop by Bish's RV, pick out an RV, take it camping with you this summer. They have any kind of RV you can imagine. They have a full parts and accessories store. Anything you need for your RV, maybe you've already got one. Stop by the accessories department there and add something to it. There's no limit as to what they have in their 4 stores around the state. They're the largest RV dealer in the state. We happen to have one of their stores at the Curry Crossing between Twin Falls and Filer on Highway 30. Bish's RV, we want you to stop by and say hi and tell them that Kelly and Jill and Ashley and Travis sent you. We have Ashley Houle and Travis Thomas. Travis is from Sherry's Restaurant. Ashley is from the Magic Valley Speedway. We got another big race weekend coming up this weekend. Who's going to be racing?
This weekend will be the Mountain Dew late models, Brennan's Carpet Straight Stock, Super Stock. Sorry, they changed this year.
Hard to change old habits, isn't it?
Yes. Sherry's Cafe Hornets and O'Reilly Auto Part Thunderdogs. And we're also having a pie eating contest this weekend.
A pie?
Really?
Now, are those going to be from
Where are they
Sherry's
getting
restaurant?
the pie from?
Sherry's is going to donate all the pies for the pie eating contest.
I see.
And what kind of pies? And does it matter? Or?
We're going to have chocolate cream pies. Just watch for Sherry's employees running around giving out tickets to people to enter the contest.
So how many people do you expect? Have you had anyone enter yet?
Nobody's entered yet. We're going to do all the entering when we get out of the Speedway. We are doing a donation this weekend for 5 canned goods of food at the Sherry's restaurant. We'll give you a free ticket to get out there. So
if they bring 5 cans to Sherry's, which you're located on Blue Lakes,
we are.
They get a free ticket to the races?
They do.
Wow, that's nice of you, Travis.
So you do you make the pies?
We make them in store, and we make some at our corporate office too.
I see. Well,
Sherry's has won a lot of national competitions for your pies. Your pies are really
actually
really
our cherry
good.
pie just won a national competition at the Crisco Awards. So.
No kidding.
Yeah, they have great pie, and you have sugar-free pies. And pies with natural fruit, so you don't have.
We do a no sugar apple and a no sugar Marionberry.
Well, how do you like that?
Because sometimes we get his pies for Thanksgiving because we don't eat a lot.
So these are the same
sugar.
pies that they're going to be eating at the contest.
Yes, they are.
So it's just the person who eats the most?
No, 2-minute warning. We're going to start counting down, and you're going to eat as much as you possibly can. And out of one pie, we'll choose a winner.
Kelly, I think this is the contest for
just
you.
What? Just one pie?
One pie. Let's see if you can finish it.
I think Kelly can do it in 2 minutes. What do you think?
Surprise! Last year we did a drivers competition versus fans, and the driver that won, he is like $160.
Yeah.
Real tiny, real scrawny, and he outbeat everybody.
Did he? Did he eat the whole pie?
He did.
He ate the whole pie.
Yeah, and then he went and raced.
Oh my!
Did he have was it one of those sugar-free pies?
No.
Probably gave him the energy for the rest of the night.
I was going to say, did anybody furnish him with some insulin or anything like that? Well, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
When's the contest going to be? Is going to be between races or beforehand or?
During intermission.
Okay.
So what time do the races start, Ashley?
Gates open at 4, qualifying is at 6:30, and we begin racing at 7. So don't forget, bring your 5 cans of food. You get a free ticket to Sherry's. All canned food goes to South Central Community Action.
You mean the canned foods to Sherry's, and they give you a free ticket to the races?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. So back to this pie eating contest.
Yeah, I think you piqued his interest.
Are there any age limits?
No, we're going to do a men's category, a women's category, a kids category, and a racer category.
Kelly, I think you need to do it. You can have a feature eater.
I would fit in the kids category, I'm pretty sure.
Well, if you do enter the kids category, if you're the winner of it, they get to do the ride along with one of the racers.
Oh, you're
really?
kidding.
Well, that'd be cool.
How old do you have to be in the kids? What's the limit?
Under 12.
Under 12.
Is there a minimum age for that?
Under 12.
Just under 12. All right.
I'm sure a 3-year-old can really down a pie.
Unfortunately, I just barely missed that.
I know. Well, does anyone win anything else? What if you win the pie eating contest?
If you win, you get trophies and then a $40 gift certificate to Sherry's.
Oh,
Kelly,
really?
I think you need to try it. I think you should be your feature eater. What do you think?
We'll put you out there, center court.
Oh, yeah.
People could challenge you, Cal.
Yeah, there you go. Bring it on. Bring it on, folks. Bring it on.
I don't know if you
Who
know
can
what
eat
you're
more
getting yourself
pie
into.
than me?
I know. So, again, what are the details? How much are the tickets?
Gates open at 4. McDonald's time trials 6:30. Racing begins at 7. Prices at the gate. Adults are $10 this weekend. Children 12 and under free with adults. Seniors is $8, and military is always free with ID.
Okay, great. So this should be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. And you had a good weekend last weekend, didn't you?
Yeah, we had 1,400 people. The crowd was packed.
Wow.
I'm
so
sure
is that a record or?
No. A couple years ago, we had 2,300 for our July 5th. So
oh my goodness.
Talk to me after next weekend, and we might have a new record.
Are you having fireworks this year by any chance? Just
absolutely.
Asking. Oh, you are?
Yep. We always do a huge fireworks show every year. So
that's
a lot
interesting.
of fun.
Yeah.
Is it going to be bigger than the Twin Falls 12 minutes worth?
We'll try for 13 minutes.
Okay, sounds
Way to
good.
go. You guys are so competitive out at that raceway.
Yeah, exactly. Ashley Houle and Travis Thomas from Magic Valley Speedway, thank you very much for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
And donate your cans to Sherry's and get a free ticket to the raceway
and
this weekend.
Start practicing for the pie
Kelly's
eating
going to
contest.
practice after the show.
Are you kidding? I'm always practicing for pie. 7360300 is the number to call here on Top Story. We'll be talking to Gabe Cordova of Core Group Realty here in just a second. But before we get to that, just wanted to tell you, if you haven't checked out the Infrared Baron yet from Farmore of Idaho, what this is, I know this is new technology nomenclature we are using here, okay? But what it amounts to is they have flights over fields. They take pictures of the fields with infrared cameras. These infrared cameras can show you how well your fields are being watered by your irrigation system. They can upload these to you. You can get them on your computer an hour or two after they have taken these pictures. You can analyze them. You can see what changes need to be made. And I'll tell you what, you might think that your irrigation system is being very efficient and doing a good job. Once you get that infrared photograph of your fields, you might be amazed. Then you can take steps to fix it. Farmore of Idaho are the ones you want to talk to. 324-3341. You can get them online at farmoreofidaho.com. Tell them that Kelly and Jill sent you. We have Gabe Cordova with us this morning from Core Group Realty. Good morning, Gabe.
Hey, good morning, Kelly. How's it going?
Well, just fine. Good to talk to you again. Now, I've just kind of been thinking about this, and choosing a real estate company to sell your home is kind of like, it's as important as I would rate it as choosing a doctor, because you want somebody who's going to be doing the very best job for you, that has all the latest tools. You don't want somebody that's working with 40-year-old technology. And tell us, Core Group kind of fits into the category of the new technology.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that's a good point. Kind of like the infrared cameras you were just talking about, or photographs. Technology we didn't have, but how it can benefit us. And at Core Group, that's something we really strive for, is making sure that we're using the latest tools and technology to get your home sold. If we did what was being done, even 10 years ago, homes wouldn't be selling. They wouldn't be selling as fast or for as much money. So we really pride ourselves and spend a lot of money making sure that we're using tools like our buyer match program, that we're syndicating out over to 200-300 websites. We're also doing aerial photography and high-definition video of homes, because there's so many websites and places to search for homes that if you don't have those videos and things uploaded and available, you're just not getting seen.
Yeah, that's the truth. So people can actually, you might say, sit in the comfort of their own home in their underwear, and then they can look at homes that they might be interested in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, something, too, that's different about Core, Core was founded on the belief of client-oriented real estate, and that's where Core came from. And everything we do really has the client in mind, our sellers, what's going to best benefit them from our initial meeting, and being just upfront and honest about value, time frame, market, to who we have on our team. We only have full-time people working on our team to service our clients. It's kind of like you said, when you're choosing a doctor, you don't want somebody that's a part-time doctor and a part-time something else. You want somebody who's focusing on their craft. They're mastering that craft. They're not focusing on anything else. And that's what we pride ourselves on here at Core when we're servicing our sellers and taking these listings and selling these homes.
Now, you've been in the Twin Falls area for quite some time, and I know that a lot of folks have taken advantage of your services. Do you have any success stories? Because I know I've seen some of your success stories, that somebody will list their home, and within 24 hours, and I know that these they don't happen all the time, but they do happen once in a while. And I tell people, if they're going to sell their home, to give you a chance, 24 or 48 hours, but they better be serious about it, because chances are you're going to be successful.
Yeah, we have our 24-hour guarantee. That's something else that's unique to us. And what that 24-hour guarantee is, if you're not happy with our services after 24 hours of being on the market, you can fire us. It costs you nothing. Homeowners put a lot of work and a lot of time, effort, money into getting their homes ready to sell. I mean, it's not easy. When I talk to people, they're like, gosh, I got so much work to do. The agent, should be putting just as much time, effort, and work into selling the home as the homeowner. is trying to sell the home. It's really a team effort. And, that 24-hour guarantee, we put so much time, money, and effort in before we ever hit the market. The sellers are really happy with us. I hear all the time, they're like, wow, I've never had an agent come by my home so many times and do so much work before we ever even hit the market.
Yeah.
We take that very seriously.
Now, they can check out your website. Where will they go for that?
Getmorewithcord.com. If you're looking to sell your home, whether you're relocating out of the area or just relocating here in the Valley, just getmorewithcord.com is a great place to go. You can put your information in there. We'll reach out to you immediately, or you can reach us at 933-2673.
All right, so you're easy to get a hold of. I know that from personal experience. So, Gabe, we thank you for taking the time to talk to us, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hey, I appreciate it. You guys have a great day.
All right, you too. Gabe Cordova with Core Group Realty, 933-2673, or getmorewithcore.com. If I were selling my home, Gabe would be the first guy I would call. We have more coming up here on Top Story on News Radio 1310 KLIX. We're sending advisors into Iraq. Looks like we might be, I don't know, you think we're going to be going back into Iraq? So many Americans say we shouldn't, but many believe we will be. 7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. Going back into Iraq, do you think we should? Do you think we'll wind up there? A new poll is out, which has some interesting results. But before we get to the poll, let's go to the mailboxes.
That's right. Go to the UPS store. They're located on the corner of Blue Lakes and Addison. And you say, Charles, I need a mailbox because I'm moving, or because I have a home business without a retail location, or I'm worried about the security of my mail. And he'll say, fine, did anyone send you? And you'll say, yes, Jill and Kelly sent me. And then he'll say, how long do you want your lease? And depending on that, you'll receive 1, 2, or 3 additional months free. But you must tell them that Jill and Kelly sent you. While you're there, you can print, you can ship, you can make copies, you can buy a cute little animal card. There's no drop-off fees for prepaid packages or mail, and you can easily design or upload your projects from any place, anytime, and they will print them out for you. No questions asked. Anyway, the UPS store, they're great to work with. They're so pleasant, and they're on the corner of Blue Lakes and Addison. Tell them that Jill and Kelly sent you.
By the way, coming up at 9 o'clock, we will have Twin Falls Vice Mayor Suzanne Hawkins for State of the City.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of things to talk to about there. I think the City Council awarded the bid for the, what do you want to call it, refurbishing the increase of the wastewater treatment plant. A couple of the council members have been elected to a statewide board, so should be an interesting conversation.
And also, there was a big deal about the zoning committee last night, or on Monday night.
Oh, really?
ZOAC.
I did not see that.
Did you not watch the meeting?
I guess I didn't.
Yes,
well,
that's how I go to sleep at night. No, I'm kidding.
I do know this. From the AP, from the Associated Press, nearly half of the roughly 300 U.S. military advisors and special operations forces expected to go to Iraq are now in Baghdad. They have begun to assess Iraqi forces in the fight against Sunni militants, according to the Defense Department. On Capitol Hill, senators who left a closed briefing with senior Obama officials expressed hope Iraq could soon form a new government, perhaps in the next week, facilitating greater U.S. military action against the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant. Navy Rear Admiral John Kirby said that troops in Baghdad included 2 teams of special forces and 90 advisors, intelligence analysts, commandos, and support personnel needed to set up Joint Operations Center in the Iraqi capital. Those troops, added to the approximately 360 other U.S. forces in and around the embassy in Baghdad to perform security, would bring the total U.S. military presence in Iraq to about 560. There is a new poll out. President Obama's decision to send 300 Special Forces advisors to Iraq leads most voters to believe a large number of combat troops will eventually go back there, according to the new Fox News poll released Tuesday. The poll also finds that although most voters think the terrorist insurgents will win, if the U.S. does not help Iraq, a majority say that it is more important to keep our troops out of Iraq than it is to stop the fighting. The poll shows 71% of voters think the Iraqi government cannot defend the insurgents without help from the U.S. That includes majorities of Democrats, Republicans, and independents. Still, by a 25% point margin, voters feel it is more important for U.S. forces to stay out of Iraq, 58%, than it is to keep terrorists from taking over the country, 33%. Views among veterans and those currently serving in the military are almost identical to the overall sentiment, 57 to 35%. And a 55% majority say that Obama did the right thing by withdrawing all U.S. troops from Iraq in 2011. 41% called it a mistake. Veterans say the withdrawal was a mistake by 49 to 45%.
Well, I mean, it really wasn't our decision to withdraw from Iraq. It was an agreement that was made by George W. Bush. Maliki wanted us out in 2011. We left. This is something that is a civil war that, I'm sorry, there's nothing that we can do to help this. They need to have their own country. Really, honestly, I think President Obama's right. If they can't fight for their own country, how can we do it? You just can't do everything. You say that all the time. We can't help everyone.
I agree.
We can't.
We
cannot fight their civil war for them.
This could be a landmark, ladies and gentlemen. I actually agree with the president that it's high time that they stood up for themselves. I mean, when the enemy is a-coming and they are throwing down their guns and running the other way, it's like, now, wait a minute.
Taking off their uniforms.
Yeah, so...
We spent how many years there training the military? But, I mean, I think it's absolutely right, because Maliki is a Shia. Saddam was Sunni. They treated them horribly. Shias were treating the Kurds and the Sunnis horribly. So how do you build your country together? I mean, this is not going to be... I don't think it's going to be democracy. How can it be when you have the sectarian violence between the three? That's basically what it's about. That is bigger than everything. You know, you're Shia, you get killed. You're Sunni, you get killed. You're Kurds, you get killed. Boom. I don't know how anyone can resolve this. I really don't. And it's been going on for thousands of years, and it'll continue to go on. And there's nothing we can do about it. And what I worry about is any of those military advisors losing their lives, being killed.
Kind of my concern also.
I'm surprised we sent them in to begin with. I think maybe they thought, well, that's the least we can do to help them organize and save Baghdad, because that seems to be their big concern. But if you have Baghdad that's taken over by one faction and you've got the rest taken over by another, really, it's a civil war.
There will be those who say then that means that the last 10 years or so that we have spent in Iraq is all for naught, that all the American soldiers that we lost is all for naught.
Why were we in there to begin with?
I don't know how to. Well, you know what? Okay, we're there. We were there. We're out now. To go back and try to relive history, I don't know. It's a moot point. The thing of it is that are they really lost in vain? I don't think so. I think we delayed. I think we really hurt a lot the Al-Qaeda. I think we really hurt a lot the terrorists. I don't think it was all for naught, but there just comes a time when we can't afford this anymore, and it's time for the Iraqis to stand up for themselves. I mean, if we're expected to go in there now and just keep protecting them, then that's going to be now and forever. And I'm sorry, we can't afford to do that. Our economy is in shambles. There's just a lot of things going on. It's time for them to stand up on their own.
And how many more lives? How many more lives? How many more lives would justify the lives that we lost? How many thousands that were injured? I mean, just sending more people in to go, oh, this justifies. We weren't in there to build democracy. That's not why, I don't know. It's not why we went into Iraq. I know people think that's it. That wasn't there to make a better life for the Iraqis. We were in there for other reasons, and I think we need, 9 years was enough there, and how long were we in Afghanistan? 10, 11 years? Enough is enough.
Well, let's see what you think. 7360300 is the number to call. Should we go back into Iraq, or should we stay out? Top story, you're on the air.
Well, I think we could have given air support to the Iraqi government. They did Maliki asked for air support to help slow down and support the troops. That was one thing that we always had when we were there was air support. We had we actually have ships in the Gulf. We have an air base in Saudi Arabia. Bottom line, ISIS got kicked out of Al-Qaeda. So, we can sit here and talk about how this isn't going to affect the United States, but it will. And then the one last thing is I don't think that Afghanistan was a bad choice. They sheltered somebody who flew planes into the World Trade Center. They killed 3,000 Americans.
Right.
What would you have done, Jill? Just let Al Qaeda hang out in Afghanistan? I mean, would you have not invaded a country? A sovereign country was sheltering someone that committed a direct attack on the United States, and you would have just said what? Go in there and what? Level them and what?
Where did they end up finding?
In Pakistan, but he was in Afghanistan
but the people
at the time.
and
that's where his camps were in Afghanistan.
But the people who
and
actually,
the Taliban
well, are you going to let
sheltering
me
him.
finish? You can't just keep talking over me and ask me 3 questions. You got to let me finish.
Okay, go.
The point is the people that actually attacked us were from Saudi Arabia, but we didn't go into Saudi Arabia because of the oil, because of the relationship. Those people were from Saudi Arabia. So to even go into Iraq, how does that even make sense? And then, we could get Osama bin Laden other ways, but to invade a sovereign country, no, I don't think that was the answer.
Let's stay on task now. Should we go back into Iraq with
don't think
troops
so.
or not? I wouldn't be surprised if we give them some air cover, and that wouldn't really bother me. The only thing of it is that if it expands upon that, well, we got air cover. Now we need to send in just a few troops into this little area here, and we could wind up
and how long do you give
thing.
air cover for? And when you stop air cover and then they keep marching to Baghdad, how long do you this is like a problem that's never going away.
I don't know. I think if it's done right, if we send in the air cover, we can blow them to kingdom come if we will
and
do
more
it.
come back.
The problem of it is we don't let the military fight it anymore. It's all politics. Let the military go in there, do what they do best, blow them to kingdom come, and we can finally win this thing.
No, more come back. You cannot eliminate the element of terror and hate against the United States around the world. You cannot eliminate every single threat.
It's not going to work if the Iraqis don't stand up for themselves. It's just not going to work. And if the majority of them are Sunni, I don't know if they will. 7-3, I think they're afraid is what's the problem. There's probably the bulk of the Iraqis just want peace and harmony. But there's a few of these radicals who want to take over the world, and they are scared of them. And that's what's happening. 7360300, top story, you're on the air. Should we go in or stay out?
Yes. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
On.
Okay, I think we should stay out, and I think this is a never-ending problem.
Yeah.
But I think the thing is what they should have done is when we went into Iraq, I think they should have took Saddam out covertly and cut a deal with the Republican Guard. You got to have a power army in there to control that. And I think by the way we went into Iraq by invading and occupying was totally not. This is what happened by doing that. I think they should have cut a deal with the Republican Guard, and because they were the strength then, they were the stability.
Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't heard that theory before. It may be interesting to contemplate.
Well, they didn't really plan why they were going in, what their exit strategy was. They're like, if you heard all the neocons, it was going to be what? 6 weeks, 3 months, we'd be liberators. This will be in and out. No, Shia and Sunni don't fight.
Rather than reliving the war, let's just ask, should we go in or stay out?
It's the same problems.
7360300, top story, you're on the air. Go in or stay out?
If we go in, it would be with the exclusion we did like we fought World War II. You go in to win it, you don't tie the soldier's hands. Otherwise, we don't go in at all, take back the weapons, we give both sides.
Well, you know that the ISIS is using a lot of the military equipment, apparently, that we left there. So that's always a bad thing. So go in or stay out. 7360300, top story, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
Oh, very good. Hey, I just wanted to say I agree with most everything that both of you have already said, but I think what we're doing here, in the discussion is missing the main point. What is the final goal, or what do we really need to have happen there? And so, if they are going to have terrorists that are going to come over here and affect the United States, I think we do need to go over there and do something. It's not just to support the Iraqi people or to try to, help them out so that they're not under these terrorists. But in the long run, what is our main goal? If it's not going to do anything, if it's not going to help the United States, then I agree. I say stay out. But in the long run, if it's going to be worse for us to stay out of there, I think we need to go in. You're right about, the cost being so high and how it affects us. But in the long run, if we do need to go in there and stop those guys, it's going to cost us a whole lot more later than it will now.
But you cannot stop the terrorist threat around the world from everyone who hates us. I think we should, make sure that our security within our borders is good, and we have intelligence, we have drones, and you're not going to stop every evil person that hates the United States. You just can't. It's like the president said, it's like whack-a-mole. You just can't. So we need to make sure our security is safe and be on top of it.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're out of time on this subject, but we do have the State of the City coming up this next hour with Twin Falls Vice Mayor Suzanne Hawkins right here on Top Story. Well, welcome back to Top Story. 736-0300 is always the number to call. Welcome back, Jill.
Thank you, Kelly.
We got more stuff coming up this hour to talk about, but right now we have Suzanne Hawkins, Twin Falls Vice Mayor and the Twin Falls City Council. Good morning, Suzanne.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Looks like the City Council was busy Monday awarding the bid for the. We've heard the buildup from this for so long, and now finally it has happened. They awarded the bid for the waste treatment plant.
This is actually, yes, phase 2. We have been working on smaller bids, getting prepared. We're trying to keep this project on schedule, if not ahead of schedule. So we have kind of broke it up into pieces where we can keep one phase moving on top of the other without any kind of a lapse. And this is the largest portion of it, yes.
Okay.
And it actually came in under estimated bids, so we were able to add on a few other things that we were hoping to do, but we weren't sure we were going to have enough money to complete. So it's actually a very complete package, and it's going to give us a lot of upgraded features at our wastewater treatment plant.
So what did you guys add on? Is it anything to do with the road or anything like that?
The road, we have set aside money for the road, but we have not actually funded that yet because that will be at the end of the project. But it was extra work on the pump stations, aeration modifications, some mechanisms and new blowers that are going to just make it actually more energy efficient. And in the long run, a lot of these upgrades will pay for themselves within 3 years with the energy we save down there.
Okay, well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, it's very seldom when a government project like this works out to be something that actually saves you money. So.
That is correct.
So when is the completion date on this?
The completion date isn't until 2016.
Oh, okay, so that'll be a while.
Yeah. Now, I know that they've had some issues with the roadway and the pedestrians and the trucks and the cars. How are we managing that so far?
We've been looking into that. We have not had any incidents, complaints, or problems as of this date that I know of. But what we're trying to do is make sure we're proactive on it and prevent it from happening. At this point in time, the Auger Falls section of the trail is what's closed during business hours so that we can get dirt in and out as we need to. The grade itself has had very little effect yet, but that's going to start ramping up now, and now we're really going to see the heavier loads there. We're trying to work with everybody to keep it a safe place. If it becomes too hazardous with the extra traffic, then we'll have to readdress it and see where we're going to go from here.
So the Canyon Springs walkway, people can still walk, and nothing's been closed on that hour-wise. It's just Auger Falls.
That is correct.
Okay, they just have to dodge more trucks right now.
Correct.
So that should be fine.
How much was the bid for?
The bid was for, let me see if I can get you an exact total here. How's that? $17,989,000.
Okay, and that went to?
It went to a company out of Boise that is called Record Still and Construction. And they're actually doing the company we've hired to oversee this project has a project similar going on in Boise. And this company actually won that award a few years back, and they said they have been a fantastic company. Everything's been on schedule, on time, and that they've had very few change orders. So that's all good.
Yeah, that is
so
good.
To kind of rehash old material, then once we get this refurb or expansion up and running, what will that allow Twin Falls to do?
It will allow us to expand and offer wastewater service to new people and companies that want to expand their operation now that we cannot take any more flows from.
Okay, because we're kind of stuck right now. If we wanted any other large businesses to come in, it's kind of like we can't handle you right now.
It's not even large business. It's residential. It's all the way across the board.
Really?
We have given out all of our will serve orders. Not everybody's using those will serve orders, so there is some room for, making some small changes. But until the first phase of the upgrade will be done in 2015, and then we can start offering more service again. And then in 2016, we'll hit the final upgrade numbers.
Well, will this help with the city of Kimberly as well? Because the flows have increased from the city of Kimberly to Twin.
No, that is not accurate.
How would that not help? What, the flows haven't increased?
No.
I thought they were charged more because they were.
No, what's happening is they're not, what is in their flow.
Yeah.
It has been fluctuating up and down, and that is what is causing the increase in their charges. It's not that they're flowing more, it's what's in their flow.
Right, it's gone up. I went to.
It takes more attention once we get it.
If Kimberly starts growing more, which it will, I mean, if you have Cliff Bar coming in and it's right on the border of Kimberly and Twin, and they have more residential, is this going to be a problem in the short term when this wastewater treatment plant isn't finalized yet till 2016?
No, because Kimberly has plenty of service allowed to them. What they've already been offered in their will serve, if they grew, they have room to
There is
grow.
room.
The problem is not how much, it's what is in it.
Right. So will this affect that? Will it help it in any way?
No, they have to find what's in their system that's causing the problems and fix it.
So what if it's
not
just
ours?
the
It's
population?
just like, but it's not.
No, I mean just what people are,
Right. I understand, and I'm not sure of all the verbiage to get it exactly right, but it's more industrial than residential, and it has to do with what is coming down the pipes and not how much is in the pipes.
I understand that. Yeah.
And so it's not the growth factor. Kimberly's looking at, they're going to have to look at figuring out what's coming into their system and where it's coming from, because at this point they don't know. We've sent our engineers out to try to help them get control on it. And so they're going to have to make some decisions now on how they're going to control what's actually coming into their system.
So, okay, but say Kimberly does grow with population, they're obviously going to have more flow. Will this help with that? Or do they have to just
It will, we need room for more flow. So yes, but right now we've given them will serve for more than they are flowing, and it would take a long time for them to hit their max at this point in time.
It would.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
As far as I know there's still houses being built and such, so there's, like you say, not everybody is using, what do you call it, the
Will
space,
serve.
the will serve. So I remember hearing something a while back, they will, allocate theirs to somebody else so they can continue building, knowing that the completion of this is going to be in 2016, and then everybody will be back to normal, I guess you might say.
Correct.
Okay.
So if people aren't familiar with the term will serve, what does that mean exactly?
When you go in to get your land platted, and at that time you have to do an engineer study on how much you're going to add to our flow. And so if there's room at the plant, we issue letters saying, yes, when you build, we have the ability to take care of you. At this point, we cannot take care of anybody else that we haven't in the past already said we would take care of.
So how many do you think that is? I mean, is there a lot? Like, is it a moratorium for how long till this is completed?
Yes and no. Jackie Fields, our engineer, has exact numbers on how many will serve letters are out there. I don't have that information in front of me. Where we're at now, we're in a good place. As our completion dates are hitting on time, we'll be fine. When we say we're at capacity, that means we've told enough builders that we will serve them when they build. It's not that the plant is actually overflowing or has more than it can deal with. There's fluctuation.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I guess you and Greg Lanning are now on the, I guess you have been on the Board of Association of Idaho Cities. So you say you've been on there, but it's now official.
Well, we were officially elected a year ago. What happened is every year there's a election and for vice presidents and directors on the board. And so last year, actually, Greg was elected to be the third vice president. And so that left his seat open on the board of directors. And so I was elected a year ago to fill his term, to finish his term for 1 year. So last week at the Association of Idaho City annual conference, I was elected for a full 2-year term. And during the November elections, some of the previous board members either chose not to run or were not reelected, which opened seats on the executive board for the vice presidents. So Greg actually jumped up 2 seats. So he will be the president next year instead of having 3 years to work up to it.
This opens a can of worms here.
Wow.
We're going to have
Is
limo
he happy
service
about
when he
this?
comes out
I know.
here. And...
Who can deal with this man now? Well, that sounds exciting. I was going to ask you, because I was watching the city council meeting last night, and Mitch Humble was talking about ZOAC, the Zoning and Ordinance. What does ZOAC stand for exactly?
Zoning Ordinance Amendment Committee.
Okay, Amendment Committee. All right. I wasn't sure what the A and the C was about. And I was interested in finding out, he was talking about how ZOAC hasn't met since the open meeting laws, which
Correct.
I'm not sure why.
Because when we went through that, we disassembled that. That was one of the committees that we decided we could no longer have under our current form of government. So that was a committee that was disassembled, and we agreed we would address it later.
Wait, why was it disassembled?
Because
it
we had
part of the open meeting.
Because we had too
the
many
committees?
council members and planning and zoning members attending those meetings, and it wasn't at that time open.
So I was confused when he was talking about the monthly working lunches with the ZOAC Commission.
No.
How was that? What was he talking about?
So our Planning and Zoning Commission meets twice a month in public forums to address planning and zoning issues.
Right.
And then once a month, they hold a training session for lunch. The training sessions are all noticed and published, and they're just a chance to have legal input to the zoning commissioners so they understand what they're allowed and not allowed to do, and they discuss different issues. During some of those training luncheons, there were updates previous to the change in the open resolution where in the subcommittee, the ZOAC subcommittee would be working on an issue, and they would bring it to that training session to update the planning and zoning commissioners on what they were addressing. So,
And then he was talking about a couple people on, I don't know, the commission or something wanted to be on the ZOAC. It was confusing, and I didn't. If it was disassembled, why did they want to be on ZOAC if it was disassembled?
before it was disassembled, some of the planning and zoning commissioners felt like they weren't having enough input on some of those zoning changes. But with the way everything's worked out, what we're going to do is, and we agreed to wait. We had 2 council members that were unavailable on Monday night. So we want to wait and have all 7 of us weigh in for sure. But the direction it looks like we're going to head is probably planning and zoning with the oversight of 2 council members are going to look at those zoning amendments and then bring them to the public forum at a planning and zoning meeting and then before the council.
Because they mentioned July 8th. So is that official that they were going to have the public hearings July 8th? That's what was in there.
There are some of the amendments they've been working on previously that city staff took on after we disassembled ZOAC, and they have finished the work on those changes, and they are going to have public hearings on those on July 8th.
And those were dealing with the pretty significant stuff. Although in the attachments of the amendments, they didn't explain what it was. I mean, they would say like building, whatever, but they didn't say what it was going from to. Where could you get the details on what they were changing those to?
That will be published before the July 8th meeting, so you have all that information on the city's website.
So they just go to tfid.org?
Yeah, I assume it'll be spelled out on the agenda for planning and zoning, because that's where it'll go.
Because I was kind of confused by that.
You can find everything you need to know at tfid.org, right?
Exactly.
Well, then it's helpful because then I can ask Suzanne, because I'm like, okay, I'm a little lost in this discussion. So thank you.
It is. It's very confusing.
It is confusing, yes.
All right.
But thanks for answering my questions.
You're welcome.
Twin Falls Vice Mayor Suzanne Hawkins, we appreciate it. We'll see you next time.
Perfect.
That's right. Thanks, Suzanne.
This is Top Story on News Radio 1310 KLIX. 7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. Yesterday's $100 instant winning name is Raul Chamorro.
Raul Chamorro, congratulations.
And your $100 word of the day for today is rocket.
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 You go to our website, newsradio1310.com, click on Word of the Day, type in rocket, and listen tomorrow. If you hear your name tomorrow and you played the Word of the Day today, you win $100.
That's right.
Yeah. I have a feeling somebody wants to bring up something we were talking about previously because they've been trying to call. Top Story, you're on the air. Good morning.
Yeah, I am a Kimberly resident. I just want to thank Twin Falls and all they do with their sewer plant for us, and hopefully the city of Kimberly will move in the right direction and develop a better partnership with Twin instead of maybe going the route they've been talking about with putting in their own plant. And that's all I have to say.
So you think they should be at the mercy of Twin for any kind of development and things like that?
Well,
you know what I mean? Because they'll be like, hey, we can control what you decide to put into Kimberly because it might just be too much for our sewer system.
I don't know.
What do you think about that?
It shouldn't be if they increase the size.
Well,
they
still can control it, though. I mean, think about it. If they project,
Yeah,
and
they
have you been
could.
to any city council
Yeah.
meetings? But they were saying, he left. But they were saying that, growth in Kimberly could be up to 29,000 people. Now, do you think Twin sewer system would able to handle 29,000 residents, not to mention commercial?
I don't know. I can't say that it couldn't.
I know. I'm just saying that, I know what he's saying. It's a tough one. I've been going to the meetings, and you just wonder, what's right, where are you going to put the wastewater treatment plant?
Well, as we grow, this is not just an issue around here. This is an issue everywhere. What do we do with our waste? And when you have, I know once upon a time, Hanson and Kimberly were discussing going together with a pretreatment plant, I think it was. But then again, can small towns like Hanson and Kimberly, even if they do combine resources, would they be able to afford something like that?
Well, that's what they're looking at now, and they're looking at maybe a pre-wastewater treatment plant. Kimberly.
Are they still looking at? Because I know they were looking at it some time ago.
At the meetings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they
All
just
right.
had a public hearing last week on it. So, I think it's a big decision, and and I don't know. I don't know how I feel
The thing
about
of
it.
it is, when you build something like that, you are dealing with the EPA and so many different federal agencies and rules and regulations, and everything is expensive now, and it'll never be cheaper than it is today. If they wait a year or two, it's going to be more expensive than it is today. But then in the long run, is it something that will pay in the long run, or?
And then some people are like, and I'm sort of like that. Well, maybe we like Kimberly, the size. We don't want it to be 29,000 people. Honestly, I don't.
Well, that
I don't
brings up an
understand. Everyone
interesting
talks
point.
about growth, but when you talk to people, the citizens, and when you talk to neighbors and stuff, I'm just like, hey, I don't want this. I don't understand who's pushing this.
Everybody
Is it just
wants the
developers,
growth.
realtors?
Everybody wants the growth on the other side of town. They
Except
don't want
it's
it in their
encroaching on
neighborhood.
our side of town. It's right up against Kimberly, so we're dealing with Twin Falls growth.
This is a sticky situation, and if you don't have growth, then you have stagnation. You don't have jobs. On the other hand, if you do have growth, you have other problems. You have people who live in areas because of the environment. That's why I've lived here all my life. I like living out in the country. I like it when the nearest neighbor is a quarter of a mile away. I don't want that to change, but I realize someday it probably will.
I guess my point of view is there's natural growth anyway. There has been since I've lived here. At least they've grown 10,000. My thing is, why are you forcing growth? Why are you bringing in these huge companies when you don't have the workforce to fill them? We've heard that from Chamber of Commerce and City Council.
Well, I don't know. Chobani just laid off a bunch of people, so apparently we've got too many.
Well, who know? Maybe they're not good quality. Who knows? But when you talk to any business people, and
I don't think they let them go because they were poor employees.
I do a
They just
business
didn't have
networking group, and let me tell you, everyone can't find anything. We've had Jordan Neerdales in here from the Department of Labor. She's saying, employers are like, anyone who can pass a drug test. But now you're talking about Cliff Bar, another 400. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, why is it forced growth? Why not let it naturally come in? People come here, businesses come here anyway.
7360300, top story. You're on the air.
You talk about expanding Kimberly. I moved to Kimberly because I like a small town.
Yeah, exactly.
If all these people come in, all these houses, they're going to raise our taxes to expand the school to accommodate them.
Yeah.
More dogs barking, more kids running around, more traffic on the roads. And right now, they blocked our view of the South Hills with building houses.
Yeah.
They don't bother to ask the people anything. Oh, they had a meeting, but, they really listened. And
the other thing is they're going to bring in more commercial because they'll say, well, that'll bring in more tax revenue than the residential. But then when you look at some of these big companies, we had Terry Kramer on, saying that, it's deferred taxes. So I don't know. I agree with you. A lot of people live in Kimberly because it's nice and small.
My gosh, what are we going to do? You got to have growth, and then if you have growth, then you have other problems.
Well, if you're all just about growth, you got to worry about the people that live here.
Population control. Now we're talking. Let's get some population control going here, folks. 736-0300. 736-0300. Always the number to call here on Top Story. Quite a conversation going here about progress. Or
well,
I guess would it be a development versus non-development? Or
and you have to say, how is it really progress? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When your quality, I saw my mom's town in Rockwall, Texas. I'm telling you, it was cute like Kimberly, little cows in the pasture. You wouldn't recognize it now. It's disgusting.
Well, before
I don't think it was progress.
Talking about the wastewater treatment plants and such, here this is kind of on that same line with Stanley and Company, the low and honey loader. So if you have a feedlot or dairy where manure is an issue and you have to move it from one point to the other, get a hold of Kelly and ask him about the low-end honey loader, capable of loading all types of manure, anywhere from liquid to frozen and dry, up to 7 miles an hour. And if you've ever loaded manure with an old manure fork or a scoop shovel, you will know that loading it at 7 miles an hour is a vast improvement. But if you want to see one of these low-end honey loaders in operation, you can call Kelly at 404-2997. He can hook you up. He can take you to one of these operations that uses one of these low-end honey loaders, and you can see how it actually works.
You could actually challenge the honey loader. You could say, who's faster? Can you keep up 7
That's
miles an
right.
hour? You could have contests.
That would be fun.
Why not?
Let's have a contest.
Honey loading.
Loading it by hand or loading it with a low-end honey loader.
You can do it faster.
Kelly's number is 404-2997.
That would
He can
be funny.
fix you up. 736-0300. Top Story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, what I think we ought to do is we ought to come up with the Twin Falls Native Club. And if you haven't lived here for 2 generations, we show up at your place with a U-Haul and we kick you out. Hey, Jill.
There you go.
Jill.
What?
Are you from Twin Falls?
No, but my husband's from Buell.
Oh,
I
that's
came
not
here
Twin
because of
Falls.
a
That
Buell
don't count,
man.
does it? That
Doesn't
don't count.
Sorry.
We don't live in Twin. We
You
live in
have to
Kimberly.
you have to get a divorce.
We live in
you,
Kimberly.
you have to leave.
What's
There's
that have to
we
do with
can't.
Twin?
We cannot have growth in the area. If anybody moves here for being married, no more. Well, I guess we can have kids. But,
okay, thank you.
But no, I think that it's funny.
The
you know?
kids can stay, but the parents have
No,
to leave.
but what
huh?
I'm saying I'm saying the forced growth. You know what I'm saying?
Let me say one thing really quick.
Go ahead.
I have a daughter who just graduated high school. I have 2 more kids that are in high school, and you know what's breaking my heart is as soon as they're graduating, because the fields that they want to go into, they're not going to stay here in Twin.
Mm-hmm.
There's not enough good jobs. It's something that I hear people lament about all the time about, oh, our kids, when they graduate, there's just nowhere for them to work. There's no good jobs in Twin Falls unless you want to do retail. And then you have a place like Cliff Bar and Chobani, and these other people move in. And then everybody wants to complain that Cliff Bar, Chobani, and the growth that comes with it, these people move in. Remember, though, this also provides good jobs for local people, so they don't have to leave. I mean, how many people did you know in your graduating class, how many of them they graduated from Twin Falls High School are still in Twin Falls?
Oh, hardly any of them.
Because they all had to move to get jobs.
Yeah,
Would your
that's right.
daughters,
That's right.
were their job
But-
fields be at Cliff Bar?
For my daughter, no.
Right.
See, that's just the thing, and that's one of the things we have to realize is that Twin Falls is not going to be able to hire everybody who graduates, because people who want to go into different fields that we just don't have in Idaho, let alone Twin Falls.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, for those who want to farm, this would be the perfect place to stay. I don't know many kids who want to graduate and go into farming these days.
But also, we don't even have a medical school in Idaho, do we? Isn't that part of the problem as well? They have
did
to
they
go.
get one in Boise?
I don't think they did.
I know they were working on one at one time.
But the point of it is you know, you live in Kimberly. How many thousand people live there now? What, maybe 3,500? I don't know what it is. But to go from that to 29,000, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
That's going to be a while. That's not going to be an overnight deal.
It wasn't that far away when you looked at it, honestly, on the plans. But when you think about it, why people live in Kimberly, so I'm talking about forced growth. Do you have to bring in mega companies for everything, or do you just grow naturally? And I say a lot of them you do grow naturally. A lot of people are coming here anyway. What about natural growth?
7360300, top story. You're on the air. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm really scared because I'm on the verge of agreeing with Jill.
Oh, come on. I've had someone agree with me today after 5.5 years. Why shouldn't you join them?
Well, let me tell you the reality that from my perspective is I'm a farmer south of Kimberly. And the thing that's kind of shocked me this year is my property taxes, which sustains this real growth you're talking about, increased. All of the farmers in Twin Falls County, and I'm surprised you haven't heard about that, has gone up 50%.
Mm.
And it just floors me when you see all these new companies come in,
Yeah.
and they get a free ride as it relates to incentives to come here. But the other thing is, there's only a handful of those that are what I would consider jobs to have your children stay here. The rest of them are minimum wage jobs,
Right.
and Idaho is already getting slaughtered in the press because we adhere to the minimum wage. So it's like we're getting hammered on both sides. But my real concern is that the issues that have increased this tax base at 50%, yes, we've seen good commodities for the past couple of years. I don't know if it's ever sustainable, but the thing that concerns me is that 50%.
Can you hang on through the break?
Sure.
All right. All right. Don't go away. This is Top Story. 7360300, the number to call. Good conversation here on, actually, it's development versus no development is what it is.
Well, no, it's not no development. It's just like, do you force development, or do you let it, because this area is growing naturally, do you let it grow how it should instead of forcing it, bringing all these companies in and blah, blah, blah.
And then the higher taxes are causing problems like the caller that we have now. So your property taxes went up 50%?
Yes, all of the agriculture property in Twin Falls County, apparently, I don't think they just targeted Kimberly, but possibly, has increased 50% this year. And a lot of farmers probably don't know it. They just got the notices a few weeks ago. And I called, and they said, yeah, that's what we're doing. It's all based on farm income, which is actually, honestly, been the highest it's been in a decade. But they're basing it off that. And it's not going to go down in next year or 20 years from now. It's permanent.
So when you're finally getting to the point where you're making some money, then here come the taxes to take it all away. Welcome to America,
and I don't
my
have
friend.
a problem with paying taxes. The issue is, what are they used for, and who's getting the free ride on the back of our local farming economy? And that's what concerns me.
Well, here's a thought. Did you ever think of this? So I'm going to put on the conspiracy theorist hat. Is maybe they're trying to say, wow, when a company comes and says to you, we'll pay you so much an acre and so we can, build and take your farmland, do you think they're going to be like, well, maybe they'll think more like that because we just charge them 50% more in property tax. So maybe they're forcing all the farmers to sell their nice farmland, which they need for houses and commercial properties. And, they plan to build. So the taxes are
going to go up. They'll be more inclined to sell.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. What do you think? Is he still on the air?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still here. I know there's going to be growth, and sustainable growth is good, but that's the key, is it's sustainable.
Yeah.
But when this growth is based as a 50% increase in 1 year on the burdens of the local ag industry, I don't think that's sustainable, nor do I think that there was good wisdom in doing that. I can't imagine that's ever happened in 1 year, a 50% tax increase.
Yeah,
it's just over the top. I can't understand it. I don't know where it come from. I'm one of the only farmers, they said, that's complained about it, but I'm going to
gather your farmers up.
Who'd you call, the assessor or the county commissioners?
The assessor's offices, and I get to go to a review board, and I already called, and they said, well, it's not going to change. It's based on the commodity price. Well, it doesn't adjust down. I've never had taxes go down.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, when the commodities go down.
That's interesting. Hey, let us know how that turns out, will
Yeah,
you?
keep us informed.
Well, I'd appreciate you becoming involved. You really do represent the community, and I like some more involvement from the press to help us understand what the real picture. And if we're going to have sustainable growth, let's talk about it.
Well, we need to let's get County Commissioner back, Terry Kramer back in here. He was in here a while back and talked briefly about that, but now that we kind of have a particular situation to talk about, that might be interesting.
Well, I've been going to the city council meetings.
Thanks for calling. Appreciate that.
Maybe he should too. I mean, you got to start getting involved in your community and see what's happening, and it's a big deal.
7360300, top story. You're on the air.
Good morning, Kelly. Good morning, lovely Jill.
Good morning.
Congratulations on your podcast.
Oh, have you seen him?
No.
Okay. I'm like, oh my gosh, how's my hair? No, I'm kidding.
You know what? I don't care what day it is. I don't care what time of the day it is. You always are beautiful.
Oh, isn't that sweet? What
Holy
a nice caller.
smokes.
Wow.
The one thing I wanted to say is, if you notice the growth in the Magic Valley, it's only like big businesses which get like 20 years break on their taxes. Well, they gotta get it off somewhere. And so who is it? Well, a lonely farmer who employs a few people and pays good wages, but the big box stores just only pay like minimum wage, and that's what they're trying to get away with. And also, like, the only other businesses that are growing up here are the jails. If you notice, Jerome gonna double up the prices. Oh, who do you think is gonna pay for that? Yeah, that's right, the little people. And also, Jill, there is a medical school. It's an Idaho State University. It's a TA program.
Is it? Okay.
Yes. All righty. Well, that's my 2 cents. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, whenever you talk development, and this is not the first time I've heard this argument come up about what about the businesses who've been here all these years and have supported the area, and then a new business comes in and they get all kinds of tax incentives and this and that and the other. So,
and then we had Terry on, a week or so ago, and we asked him about that and this tax deferred. He says, a lot of the money, like say Chobani, $17 million went into the infrastructure, but then you wait like 10 or 20 years to then get the taxes from them, but now it's at a depreciated rate. So you're not getting the taxes right away from these companies. I mean, it might go into infrastructure, but, you're not getting the tax base. So when they keep saying we only need commercial to build up our schools, you're thinking, well, how long is that going to take then?
736-0300, top story, you're on the air.
Hi there. My opinion is that growth is good. Because in one day, Idaho will be just like California.
Bite your tongue, young lady.
It's happening every day. Just look at Jill.
What am I? What? Look at me, what? I'm not from California. I'm here because of my husband.
I think she was talking about your ideology.
Oh. I was going to say, Idaho men are like Alaskan men. They go out, they find women, and they bring us back. This is not my fault. You guys go out, you find us, you bring us back.
We need to blame Tom.
Tom.
That's what you're saying.
Tom came to Philadelphia. That's where I met him. Philadelphia.
Well, it's time now for the Huckabee Report, brought to you by Waddell & Reed. Give them a call at 736-6563. You can hear the Huckabee Report each weekday at this time, brought to you exclusively by Waddell & Reed, Laura Nelson, Josh Funk, and Steve Stanger, financial advisors. And the number is 736-6563.
Well, I want to tell you about the UPS store.
Tell us about the UPS store.
Well, did you know it was located on the corner of Blue Lakes and Addison?
I knew that.
Okay, great. Did you know that you can walk in and you can say to Charles, I need to rent a mailbox?
Yep.
Did you know that if they tell them that you or I, Joe or Kelly, sent them, they'll receive 1, 2, or 3 additional months free?
Especially if you tell them Kelly sent you.
I think it's better if you tell them Jill.
I don't think so, Jill.
Actually, it depends on the length of the lease of the mailbox that you rent. But a lot of people are not mentioning Joe or Kelly, and they're leaving money on the table. Who wants to do that?
You've got to be kidding me.
I'm not kidding, Cal. It's really shameful. But while you're there, did you know you could print? Did you know they could package up something for you? Did you know you could ship? Did you know you could buy a cute little animal card?
I did. I knew that.
And those apparently are really selling well. Anyway,
thanks, Jill.
Yes, they're very cute, I'm telling you. Anyway, no drop-off fees for prepaid packages or mail, and you can easily design or upload your projects from any place, anytime, and they'll print them for you. So go to the UPS store, tell Charles and the crew, Jill and Kelly sent you.
All right. Now, next Tuesday, we'll be pulling a name out of the hat for the Lunch with Kelly and Jill from the Canyon Crest Dining and Event Center. If you haven't signed up for that, I would suggest you do so before midnight Monday.
Yeah.
Yep, just go to our website, newsradio1310.com, click on Lunch with Kelly and Jill, put in your information, and then listen Tuesday to the show to see if your name is pulled out of the hat.
Why not enter? I mean, today, June 25th, on this day, Kelly agreed with President Obama. We had 2 callers who actually agreed with me for the first time in 5.5 years, but who's counting? I mean, what? Have lunch with us. Break bread with us. Why not?
There
you know?
Go. There you go.
Why not? And if you've won before and you've waited 30 days, you can enter again, and maybe you'll win again.
There you go.
I know Jim Vensveen says he's going to win again.
Very good, because that's what he said the first time when he won. He said, I'm going to win this month, and he did.
Guess what?
It's all the power of positive thinking. I just know that I'm going to win the lottery.
Yes.
Hey, speaking of the lottery, the Magic Valley Amateur Radio Club is going to be setting up at the KOA campground this Saturday noon till Sunday noon for Field Day. We'll be talking to radio amateurs from around the U.S. and Canada. It is an emergency communications drill, but we have a lot of fun, and we like you to just stop by and see how it's done.
Now, what does that have to do with the lottery? You kind of transitioned
I don't know.
Speaking of the lottery, then the ham
Poor
radio.
transition.
No, meaning you'll be lucky. You'll be lucky.
If you stop by there, and you'll think you won the lottery. It'll
there
be
you
so
go,
fun.
Kelly. You got to just wrap it together.
All right. So tomorrow we got the cops with the bad guys list, and
that's pretty much on the schedule.
That's pretty much on the schedule
at this point in
time. So it'll be a big open mind day.
Let us know. Yeah, because Friday's actually pretty booked, so maybe we'll make it open mind Thursday.
There you go. All right. So we'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye, Jill.
Bye, Cal.